I don't know about you, but my workshop and creating space gets really cramped and messy. So I've set myself a challenge to try and tidy it up, and I thought you'd like to join me. I'm Julie from Julie Davis Flower Workshops and Flower Start, the online flower arranging classes. So my workshop is in a single garage with some storage space at the front, and I've got sort of a C shape of workbenches here, and underneath I have lots of storage, and these storage is based on some IKEA storage racks, which originally I had stored up right to the ceiling, and then I've reduced them in size to make more usable space, and I didn't want to have to buy new racking systems, so I've reused what I already had. And like all things, when I set up my workshop, everything fitted perfectly, but I'm not very disciplined about putting things back in their right places. So I need to have another clear out really and get things sorted, because it's just getting too out of control. So I set myself a challenge of trying to tidy up my workspace area, and I thought I would just tackle it one compartment at a time. And you could do the same thing for you in your own home or in your own workshop space, or to set yourself a timer. So quite often as well, when I've got big jobs to do that I don't want to tackle, I set myself a timer. So what I'm going to do is to tackle the job one shelf at a time. So I'm sort of desperate to take this basket off because I can see it's becoming a bit unstable, but I'm not going to. I'm going to be really, really disciplined and do one shelf at a time. So on the top shelf, actually I'm going to have to take that basket off because it's going to fall otherwise, and that's going to fall as well. But on my top shelf, I've got loads of wrapping and packing. The brown paper is from bouquets of flowers I've had from the supermarket that I thought I would reuse again, and they must have been here a couple of years and I haven't used them yet. So I am tempted to put those in my recycling pile. Now what I should have said is I've got 3 buckets behind me, and one is for rubbish, so either recycling rubbish or stuff to go on the compost heap, because I've now got lots of dried flowers I don't need anymore. One's going to be a giveaway pile, perhaps I can charity shop it or give it to my friends, pass it on. And then there's going to be a keep pile, so I'll put that back in on the shelves. So at the moment I'm going to put that into the recycling pile next to me. And then I have got lots and lots of coloured tissue paper. Some of it has been taken out of packets and folded and refolded and is ever so slightly creased at the moment. So I'm going to donate that to my friend who runs the local brownie pack, and I'm sure she'll be able to get some really good use out of those. So I'm going to put that there. The unopened packets I'm going to keep for myself, and they can go back on the shelf. I've got a length of cellophane there. I think I shall throw that away, it's a bit dirty. So that in the throwaway pile. And then I do have great wads of tissue paper as well. Now the outer layers are a bit crumpled, but I'm going to keep that because I know that the inner layers will be fine, and the outer layers are just protecting it a little bit. So originally these were wrapped up in cellophane. In fact, perhaps that cellophane I've just thrown away. I could wrap the tissue paper up in that to protect it. That would work much better. So there is my protected tissue paper, and that can go back on the shelf. Another box of the pink. I'm going to chuck away the wrapping there, and then this is what the tissue paper comes in, these huge plastic bags. So that is all nice and neat. So that can go back on the shelf as well. This is lovely wraps of cellophane. Again, I can't remember why I shaved off wraps of cellophane, but as they look quite new, again, I'm going to donate those to the brownies. They do a tombola from time to time, and they wrap the gifts up, so I shall donate those on. More orange tissue paper here, which can go back on the shelf. And then I've got some paper carrier bags, which I used to put my bouquets in when I started first doing flowers, and what I'm tempted to do, because I don't gift wrap anything anymore, much as I love these carrier bags, I think I'm going to donate those to the charity shop. I'm sure they can get better use out of them than I will. So that's in the giveaway pile over there. Put my pink tissue paper back. Make sure that all lies flat. And then again, I've got rolls of things I've saved and I've never quite got round to using them for anything. And then some lovely wrapping papers. I bought these wrapping papers when I did an online photography class with Emily Quinton of Make Light, and I used them as backgrounds, and I just have never used them since. Now I've got my workbench on here. I don't use the backgrounds, but what I could do is actually put that into my present wrapping drawer. So I shall be reusing those. And then this lovely piece of wallpaper here that I bought from a vintage shop in town. There's just a little bit left. I might be inclined again to pass that on to the brownies because they might be able to get some good use out of that. And then I have got notebooks and notebooks in here. So these look like flower notes. So what I'm going to do, I will have a look through those later on and decide what I'm going to keep and what I'm not going to keep. This one here, a bit tatty, obviously ripped out the pages that I've used and not got no any further than that. So I think I will go through that later and be prepared to probably recycle most of that. I don't think I need to keep that. And then down to the next shelf, I'm just a bit tangled up with my microphone there. I have got loads and loads of turntables. These came from IKEA, and part of the reason I got loads and loads of turntables is because I wanted to replace my turntable that are broken, and I think I got free packaging if I ordered more than a selection of them. So I've ended up with 4 I think I've got, and I'm going to keep those because sometimes I do run classes at home and I think it is really nice being able to work on a tame turntable. So they're going to go straight back in there. I stack them up like that. I've then got these charger plates that were really fashionable a while ago. I've got 2 gold, and then I got happy with my spray gun there. Actually, looking at that, it's got, I think it must have been a blue plate to begin with. It does look like it's gone coppery and aged. But again, I haven't used those for ages. So I'm going to donate those to the charity shop. And also a mirror plinth as well. I used to enter competitions at my flower engine club, and this is the kind of thing that went down well, but I'm just not into that anymore. So I will pass that on to the charity shop, or in fact I might take it down to my flower club and donate it to the ladies there. And the same, I bought that plinth from the flower club, and again I've never used it, so I'm going to pass that on. And then I bought this lovely plate and saw it in the market, and the lady said, oh, I can clean it up for you, but actually I wanted it because of the pattern on the plate, so I'm not quite sure what to do about that. I might, perhaps it is time that I washed it. It's got this sort of stain along here, and I had some professional photographs taken of a workshop, and all I could see was the stain across there. So I might, it's quite a pretty plate, I might wash that and again donate that to the charity shop. And then the next shelf, I've got a storage jar, which my sister gave me for a birthday. I'm going to keep that, but I've got some glassware on the next shelf along, so I might put that with the other glassware. And then a random piece of cellophane, which I think I'll have to bin. Lovely container there, which I will keep. This would look lovely planted up with spring bulbs, so I will keep that. And then I've got a box here with nothing in it, but in actual fact I've got a glass version of that on my kitchen windowsill, which belongs in that box, so I shall put those back there. And another notebook. Oh, I think I used to use this. Sort of like a review when people came to my workshops and they made lots of lovely comments. But I keep that with my paperwork, so I'll put that down with my paperwork folder to go through. And then a box of Easter eggs. So perhaps I should have those on display as we're coming up to Easter. I can make use of those. So I need to remember what I've got and where they are. And again, I might just leave those out on the top at the moment. And like I said, a group of Eastery things together. And then these, oh, I love these wooden pots, plastic lined. And I bought a bulk load of these for, I think, one of my very first workshops. And again, I've never used them since. Well, I've used the ones I used, but I bought a quantity of them. What I might do is keep hold of the one, because I'm just running workshops now. Normally, with my standard classes, ladies bring their own materials with them. So I'm tempted to keep one. It's got a price label on that, so I'm going to get rid of that. And then I shall give the rest away, either to my ladies at my flower club or to the charity shop. Now, as I say that, I think actually I've decided I'm going to keep these because I need somewhere to keep my scissors, and that might be decorative and functional, and I won't have to go out and buy something else. So perhaps I will keep these, and I'll unwrap that, the last one, to remind me to put bits and pieces in it. So I'm going to use those for storage, and I hope I'm not making more mess than I am doing tidying up. And then down to the bottom shelf, with the basket I took off the bottom shelf, that has got the little bags in that I keep my studio lights in. So I don't need access to those. Again, a plastic bag, I could recycle that. One of my old bulbs, which I've kept because the replacement bulbs in my lighting, it's never been quite so good. So I really need to make sure that I actually reorder exactly what it says. And for the moment, I might rest that in the pot. And those are just, again, covers for my lights. Well, I think I was doing some demonstrations for some pleating on a funeral tribute, so I can get rid of that. And this is a little beaded decoration I think I bought somewhere, Christmas fair. That can go to the charity shop. Someone else can make use of that. And this, oh, look at this. I've forgotten about these. I've got a hole punch that cuts out circles, and I've gone through the sewing machine and joined them all together. And if you flatten out little discs, I think there must be about 4 discs together, it makes a 3D bit of bunting. So really, I should string that out. And I think I've been really careful as well, just to pick blues from the magazine. So I might string that up and make a nice little background for my photograph. So again, I will use that and recycle the envelope. I've got a jar of bubbles here. I think that's going to go to the charity shop. We haven't used those. And some labels. Now these, I think, are jam pot labels. So really, I think I should put those in the kitchen drawer. So that can go on the side there, and move that. Little trug here. The hardest thing when you're arranging flowers is you want lovely selections, all sorts of containers, and they're really difficult to store because they're so bulky. So I know that that one sits in there, but my problem always was that it kept falling off the shelf because the handle was getting in the way. And I wonder now, I've made a little bit more of a gap, that it will actually sit on the shelf properly, and I can have that up there because I'm going to move that for storage later. So right down at the bottom, oops, oh, I've got my lovely dish as well. I bought that for £2, so I will keep that because I do use that quite a lot. And then I've got a basket here, which is supposed to be just full of the aprons. So if you come to a private class with me, you get to wear your own apron with the J on the front. So these probably due for a wash and an iron. And then I've got another wodge of wrappings, so I need to go through that. I think I've just got so many of these that I'm going to put the brown paper in recycling and throw the cellophane wraps away. I've got gardening gloves, and I know I've got an edge here where I've got my gardening gloves, so they can go back there. And I've got a cloth as well, which is great for mopping up. Oh, another pair of gardening gloves, which can go on the side. So that all looks good. Oops, oh, I've got another glass dish there. And again, you discover these things that you never knew you had. This has got, looks like it's got glue on it. I'm inclined, because I've not used that for ages, to give that away. That would be lovely at Christmas time with an arrangement in it. But I've just not used it, and it's cluttering up the place. I'm feeling brave, so that's going to go to the giveaway pile. And then in this box, I've got lots of sort of styling props. Oh, look at this. I've not seen this dish for ages. Oh, this is a very precious dish to me, and perhaps I ought to put it on display. It's come from Paul Pottery, and when my mum and dad moved house, they gave it to me. I think it was given to my mum as a gift when I was born, because it looks like it spells Julie, Julie, but it's sort of random patterns. So that always used to hang in our dining room, and the reason why it's in the box wrapped up is because you can see that I had it hanging up on the wall, and then it got moved and it's actually cracked, and my dad has glued it back together again. And since then I've been a bit nervous about having it on the wall, but really I ought to display it. So perhaps that's time for a new nail to go in the wall and actually display that and enjoy it, which means then I've got a sheet of cellophane which I can put in the present wrapping drawer. Get rid of that. Reuse that for later. I got this, this is wrapped around my wedding bouquet, and I like using that when I was trying to do sort of flat lays for my Instagram. So I think I will keep hold of that. A little tea cloth. Oh, I absolutely love things like this. I really used to enjoy embroidering at school, but I've never used it, and I think it's time to pass that on. So that'll go to the charity shop. And again, a tea towel. My Auntie Mary gave me this tea towel when I was about 7, and I just loved it. And I'm going to keep that because it's got sentimental value. So out of this box now, I've only got those 2 items in it, and the box is empty. There's lots of dried lavender pouring out of there. Empty, apart from these bottle tops. And at one stage I was going to wrap these bottle tops in fabric to create a mat, like a teapot stand or a hot pot stand, and I've never done it. So those can lids are going to go into recycling. And then, oh, fake flowers. So these are probably something that have been left over from the children's flower club at school. So I'm going to just leave those out, because I know I've got fake flowers somewhere else, and put them together. And also I have some felt scraps and ribbons, and I have all my fabric now upstairs, so I think I will put that to go upstairs as well. So I'm going to take those out as well and find a new home for those. So I've in fact got an empty box that I can use for more effective storage. So put the aprons back, and then a bigger storage box here, and I know that this is full of bits and pieces for my travelling children's workshops, and so it's where my craft stuff gets. So these really big hole punches. You might see me making gift tags at Christmas with those, so they are a keep. In this bag here, oh yes, I went through a knitting phase, and I found this lovely, recipe, instructions for making little bags, and I bought all the clasp holders, and that was several years ago. I'm never going to be using those, so that's something else at the charity shop. I could bundle those bits together for the charity shop. And then also I went through a phase of picking up these, I think they're crocheted sort of lacy bits, and I think originally it would have been made for your dressing table, and you would have put your bottle of perfume on the top, or as coasters. And what I did is I sewed them all together to create a scarf. And I've got one, the original one I made, I still wear, but I did have these scarves that I made, which I was really proud of. And again, I've not done anything with those. I used to have a little craft store selling stuff, but I haven't done that for a long time, so I think I will pass those on. And that's what the individual little bits of lace looks like. Ooh. And I've just piled up so much stuff to give away that's collapsed on the floor. I shall pick that up later, but they were 50p each, so it's quite a good value for money. So I shall put those in my giveaway pile. And then some more themed things. One of the parts I did was a frozen party, flower arrangements themed with everything. It was silver and blue, so I shall keep that all together. And craft scissors for children to use. More hole punches. And that's a circular one that I made the garland with. I think everything in here I will be keeping. Butterfly hole punch and a tiny punch for making the holes in gift tags. So I think pretty much there, everything is going to stay. So I shall put that box back on the shelf. So I think I'm going to leave it there for now. I've done my 20 minutes. And of course now I've got a big mess to clear up because it's fallen over in front of me. So join me for another time when I'll do my next lot of shelves and you can see what I've got and what I'm going to declutter. So I'll see you another time. And don't forget, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave me a comment below. And if you like what I do on my channel, which is sharing handy hits and tips for flower arranging, don't forget to subscribe.